Well, good day, people. I guess we're going to start talking about Xplane 11, computer, hardware, what you're going to need in order to get things up and going and have a smooth transition while using Xplane 11. These videos are going to be featured only for Xplane 11, as I do not run Xplane 10 anymore, and I have recently added on new hardware for my computer. So again, I only use this computer strictly for simulation of Xplane 11. So now some of the features within my computer, and what it has is pretty much straight here, all about the computer. So the processor I'm running is the Intel Core i7-4790 4 gigabytes processor. I have 32 gigs of RAM installed. I will be going up to 64 gigs eventually down the road, and we're running the 64-bit operating system for Windows 10. Now, that's just a little bit on my specs for this computer. Everybody's machine will be different. Everything will run with Xplane 11. It will just require some of the specs to be turned down for graphics. So now let's open up a Nvidia control panel, and I will show you some of the settings here for within the adjustments for images for the graphics card. So I have everything set to use my preferences and phasing balance between performance and quality, 3D imaging, programs. Now, within manage 3D settings, global settings, we're going to go to program settings. Now select the program to customize. We want to customize Xplane. So you're going to open up the tab, scroll down, look for your folder Xplane, click on that, and hit Add. Now, show only programs found on this computer. You can check that as well. Now, these are the settings that I have based on my video card and running with Xplane 11. So image sharpening off, ambient occlusions not supported, anti-scopic filtering is set 4 times, anti-aliasing FXAA I have turned on, anti-aliasing gamma correction is on, mode settings are all default settings using global settings. Now as we scroll down, power management mode is on preferred maximum performance. So again, click on it, it opens up. Select prefer maximum performance, and that will make some changes. Shade cache, use global settings is on. Texture filtering, anti-scopic sample is off. Texture filtering, negative LOD bias is use global settings. Texture filtering quality is at high quality. Texture filtering trilinear optimization is off. Threaded optimization is also set off. And we are pretty much at the bottom, and everything is use global settings. So the changes are really within threaded optimization, textured filtering quality, and textured filtering anti-scopic sampling. Power management mode is where we want to make changes. Also anti-aliasing FXAA, it makes for a smoother, sharper image within the simulation of Xplane 11. You don't get the jagged lines, it just makes the lines a little bit smoother. And these are my settings here, pretty much all that needs to be taken care of with Nvidia control panel if you're using the GeForce video cards. So let's close out of this. what else can we talk about here? I have also run overclocking within the processor. So you want to be able to install MSI Afterburner, which, where are we at? Right here. MSI Afterburner. It's a free program. Install it. We're going to open up some settings so that we can deal with some overclocking. Now I have some preset settings already in place. And then you're going to want to install MSI Kombustor. Now, what that does is it's going to create a picture quality for us. So now, as you install MSI Afterburner and install MSI Kombustor, when you're within the program of MSI Burner, you're going to have a ton of little adjustments that we can make based on what your processor can handle and your video card. Now, core clock and then memory clock is going to be based within your video card. And then power limits and temperature are going to be set within the processor as well. So now, what we're going to do is run up here, click on K. This is going to open up MSI Kombustor. Looks like we got, it's not really working right now. Alright, let's open up this MSI Kombustor and see if we can get it to load. Looks like we're still having some issues here. There we go. Now we got this to start. So click on K. That's all it should take within the MSI Afterburner. MSI Afterburner will work for any video card and processor as well. Now, what you're going to want to do within all of this here, Kombustor, is to just run a stress test. So we're going to check off stress test. It'll open up a little video for us. And what this Kombustor is going to do is run through and constantly put stress on the video card and processor. So down here is GPU temp. This is what our temperature is running at. So we want to pay attention to this. When we start getting around that 79 Celsius, then we know we're getting into problems here within the processor here. She's heating up a little too much. Time is what we're just going to watch just to see, we want at least, anywhere from a minute, we'll say, as we make changes, up to 10 to 15 minutes when we get into the graphics card. And then speed, we're going to be watching frames per second. And then GPU load, processor load is 99%. So pretty much we're just going to be paying attention to these numbers as we go through. And then we're going to start making changes up here. So now my settings here for power limit is set at 100. Temperature, we can crank these settings up or down. And then on the core clocking, we're just going to start off slow. So I would recommend don't touch your core voltages. Set your power limit to 100. So again, it's just a matter of putting your mouse pointer on it, set it to 100, and then you'll have a check mark here. Once you make those adjustments at 100, come down to the check mark. It should highlight green as you make the changes. You're going to hit the check mark to say enter, and then those changes are going to be saved. Now, with that being said, we're going to be looking at the core clock in megahertz, and every machine is going to be different. So you're going to start all at the bottom for your core clock and your memory. You will set that to the bottom. Now you're first going to start out with your core clock first. and start making increments of 100. And as you go up 100, so we're sitting at 502, we're going to go up to 1,000 is the maximum number. So make increments of 100 to 200 at most. Make your change. Check mark will be green. Hit enter. And then keep watching the display here. That's going to tell us whether we're having any issues or not. And if we start getting flickering or if we go too high, then of course MSI Kombustor will just shut down. It'll black the screen out. Shut the computer. Shut this MSI Kombustor and MSI Afterburner off. You'll have to restart it and then change that setting once you reach your maximum. So again, you're going to keep going up, 100, 200 increments till you get that flickering. With my machine setup, I managed to get up to 950 without any issues, and then I dropped down 50 within the core clock just to reduce it a little bit so that we don't have any issues along the way. Now once you find this number within your core clock, it's going to be straightforward. Check the check mark, save it, and then it's in there, and then we can designate this 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5 numbers after we get the memory clock set up as well. So again, 100 to 200, you're going to be going up in increments. Once you find your max and it shuts off, then reduce it by 50, and that should be sufficient and will not be too hard on your gaming experience. Now memory clock, I would go up in increments of 50 until you find your maximum. So again, we will increase 50, go up another 50, and just click on the number, type in, let's say 50, hit enter, hit your check mark, and then see what it does. Let it run for about a minute before you're making your changes, and then again, okay, we're good at 50, so let's run at 100, type in 100, enter, and we'll see what that does, and so on and so forth. So once you get all of this established, then we're going to set up a profile. So we're going to hit number 1, and then we're going to hit the save, and then that is going to be inputted into number 1 setting, and then you can create a bunch of different settings based on what you want to run for games. And then also check off startup, so every time computer starts up, this will be running in the background automatically, which will be down in this window at the bottom, and away you go. So hopefully this explains a little bit of stuff for MSI Afterburner, MSI Kombustor to overclock your video cards. So let's just get out of this. Now that we have that set up, so my video card as well, once we open this up for GeForce Experience, of course you'll have to create a login to get driver updates and such. Click on settings. Now this is where you can upload your drivers, update them so it runs with, let's say if you're running the GeForce Experience and video cards, you're going to want this program so that you can automatically update the drivers and keep your video card up to snuff. So again, currently with my rig, GeForce RTX 2060 video card at 8 gigs, that's 8 gigabytes is what this graphic card is putting out. This is the version of the driver that's installed. Of course, there's my processor, CPU, again 32 gigabytes of RAM, and then my monitor settings that I have set up as such. Now of course with GeForce experience. It does not recognize Xplane. So if you're trying to upload any drivers based on the Xplane 11 or any Xplane at that, it is not recognized in here. So the settings that I've showed you is just my settings based on this, and hopefully this helps you guys as well, and this video wasn't too dry or boring for you. Now in the future I will have more stuff on way. Hopefully, like I said, a lot of this was trial and error for my stuff, researching, seeing what worked, what didn't work. I'm just trying to make things a little bit easier and quicker for somebody else so that you're not taking as much time to try and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. So with that being said, I'll cut this video short, and this was based on computer settings, video card and such, PC builds. Sky's the limit. Whatever you throw at this Xplane, your computer will take it no matter what. So it can get quite expensive as you build your box to go. Anyways, thanks again for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.